The eyes of Texas are not on us. They're black and blue from the beating they got last year. Thank you, Jack Sawyer. All right. It's dull. And so is Matthew McConaughey. Stubbs Barbecue sucks. 6th Street music stinks. The Bat Bridge is, dare I say, overrated. Horns down. Bang the drum. The episode is next. What's up, Stevie boy? How you doing?
Not much, my man. How are you?
I'm good, baby. I'm good. Lively. Ready to go.
Lots of energy. Like it.
Love it. First true football weekend. Last weekend, this one, big games galore. Part of that is that strength of schedule in college football. We're going to talk about that. Whoop. It's big. They're coming. A lot of big games this weekend. Something to be excited about. How you doing, my friend? What's going on?
Doing pretty good. Just staying busy, working. Couldn't wait to come and talk some Cincinnati Bengals, some college football. Hopefully win some money here in the next week or so.
Hey, there you go. Now you're talking.
Hey. Maybe $1 million.
$1 million. That would be awesome. That would be spectacular.
It would be. So
it'd be tough to win $1 million when you're betting 50 cents like you do, but hey, what are you going to do?
I mean, if I have like 37 teams in a parlay, I might win 1,000.
It's true. That's what you do. We do like our parlays.
We do.
My friend. We do. My friend, Milo. So here we are. We're ready to talk. I'm going to talk about what we got up in store for this year. So, it's real now. Really real next week. But we're going to have a weekly edition. Midweek, something like that. We'll do it here at your house. Weather permitting, we'll find a way to do it regardless. But in that one, it will be the same format, same podcast. You'll hear us. The million episode is due to 1 million composite views on YouTube. BTD Podcast Bengals. We are available on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, iHeart. You already know that if you're listening, but maybe you want to listen somewhere else. Video version on YouTube. We got HBO's Inside the NFL, NFL Primetime, old Buckeyes games, including beating Texas. We've got stuff all over the place there. Bengals highlights, Bengals games. Check it out. Spread the word. Like, subscribe. Notifications on. What do they say? Bang that button. Crush that button. We're not going to say that bullshit. But you got it. I did just say it, but I don't mean it. And, honestly, of all my ridicule of the city of Austin, I don't mean any of it. Other than maybe McConaughey. You like him, right? He's all right.
He's all right, yeah.
Good and True Detective and that Dallas North 40, whatever that was. That's not North 40, whatever it was. Dallas Buyers Club. He's actually a really good actor. But I love Austin. Music's better than Nashville for all you country-loving fools out there. Austin is way better. No offense, of course. With all due respect. You can say what you want. Let me say with all due respect. Stubbs Barbecue's outstanding. Bat Bridge, if you've never seen it.
Yeah, that makes it okay.
It does. You can say whatever you want. With all due respect, you're free to do whatever you want. So,
I hate you.
Well, with all due respect, you're a fucking idiot. But you can say that, because I say with all due respect. So, weekly edition. We'll talk about NFL big games, AFC North, preview the Bengals game, and then recap the game prior. We'll do our CFB's best bets. Today, we're just going to hit the big games. Next week and going forward, we'll look for nuggets and try to find those obscure games that we think you can win on. Hopefully we will. Think about it as, even if we do a parlay, think about it as individual games. That's how you win money, not by parlays. So we'll do that every week, right? So this typical format. On Sundays, however, we will be on YouTube Live. So that will be, for example, for the Browns game, we'll probably be here, weather permitting. We'll watch it somewhere, and we'll do a show pregame before the network pregame shows. Looking forward to that. Then we'll do bets on the NFL. We won't just do the top games. We'll talk about the top games, but our bets will be what we think is going to happen, right? So take that with a grain of salt. Because parlay-wise, we haven't exactly won. We win 3 out of 4, you still lose. So that's a tough one. But we're going to do that every Sunday. We'll start that with the Browns game, and then the Jaguars game in Cincinnati for every home game will be at Hilltop, right across from the Bengals practice bubble. We'll do the show there, bring our equipment, do it right there, live. And I'll bring out the Musburger. You are looking live. Cincinnati, Ohio. We'll be there every week. 9 home games this year. Looking forward to it. Sometimes we're going to be a little tired. Got to do a red eye to get back to one. Shh, don't tell anybody I said that. So it's going to be fun. That's going to be a good time.
Yep,
it's going to be a good time. So, big news. Big news. A lot to talk about today. We'll start with the Bengals, of course. Trey Hendrickson is back. Wait, he was never gone. So, national media reports like it's an extension. They got him back. He was there the whole time, hold in, whatever. But he was under contract the whole time is the point. He didn't do anything other than took on a raise. So the Bengals didn't extend him. They gave him a raise. Deservedly so, right? I mean, you're paying for past performance, which is kind of tricky. And, I've heard, Jimmy Johnson, various others, you don't want to pay for past performance unless you believe they can keep that going, right? So they're the one-year deal. Obviously, the Bengals don't think he will at his age. That's up for discussion whether he will or not. But a big raise, he's there, he's happy, he's content. I think the Bengals win it because they can still franchise him next year and the year after. And you say, well, what about other guys? Well, they've got T, they got Chase, and they got Burrow. There's nobody else on the team as of now I can envision them even franchising, right? There are people that are going to get second contracts, but not franchise-level money. He's it. So if they want to do it or sign and trade, it'd be kind of dirty, all thing, but they could still do that. But if he plays at that level anyway, you talk about it's going to be $36 million or potentially more, he's going to get that somewhere anyway, right? If he does what he did last year, he'll get that somewhere. So the Bengals have the right to do that. So from my perspective, it's a Bengals win. Your thoughts on Trey, sir?
Yep. It's Cincinnati Bengals win. They done what they should have done. He's been underpaid. I mean, we can all be honest with that.
Yep.
I mean, with his performance or whatever. So even regardless of whether we think he'll get that 13 to 16, 18 sacks this year, which I think is more the 10 to 13 range, he's still, with the money he's going to make this year, is basically, you could say, okay, spread out over the past 2 or 3 years, that's probably actually what he should have made.
Yep.
He should have made the 20 to 22.
That was his fault, not theirs.
It was. But, they won it. There's plenty of options they can do next year. And when it comes down to it, when you look at the future of this organization and the amount of money that they're going to pay out over the next 3 and 4 years, it's not as much as what people think.
Not cap-wise.
The cap-wise itself over the next 3 or 4 years will pay for Burrow's next 4 years his contract. What he's making this year, if that makes sense. He's making $46 million. Well, the next 4 years, the cap's going to go up $40-some million.
Probably so.
That pays for this year's salary.
Yeah.
So a lot of people they don't look at it like that.
It's not. At some point it's got to level out. I was talking to a friend of mine. Like the contracts that they're paying some of these guys. There's got to be a come to Jesus. I hate to say it that way, but a come to Jesus moment where the NFL keeps pushing the boundaries of this with all the nonsense Europe games, and I'm not going to get on a tangent here, and all the other bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. The officials, the stupid rules. At some point, people are going to get ticked and back off of, right? The nonsense woke stuff, which we're not going to get into on the field, just so stupid. But they do all this stuff. At some point, it's going to hurt them. But I don't see it anytime soon. So, like you said, the cap's is going to continue to rise. So, it's a good move. I think we're both, Trey's happy. He's getting a lot of money.
Yep.
The guarantees he wants, he's not getting in year 2 and year 3, but he is kind of betting on himself, right? And I don't blame him, man. His hand usage, I posted a video short. I said he Mr. Miyagi to Steelers left tackle. He's doing, his hand usage, right? It's just, and I just think some guys have that. They try to teach all these guys something. He's not the best athlete in the world at that position, but it doesn't matter because people don't get their hands on it. He's just so good from a pass protection standpoint, right? He's just
Plus,
so good.
He's really good off the line.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And then with those moves,
he's strong too.
These guys can't. A lot of times they don't even get their hands on him until he's already going to beat.
And they brace for him to come the outside or whatever, and he's strong, man.
Which is a lot of the reason that he struggles in run defense is because of how he gets off the ball, and he's already pretty much play recognition. He doesn't even care.
Yeah, he's just gone.
He's just gone, and and I've said it multiple times. He's below average in run defense, but I tell you what. I mean, if you can get these other guys, Osai, Shamar, and get those guys on the field and let Trey go in them true pass situations and go get the quarterback. I know you're paying $30 million, but who cares?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just go get the quarterback and get him on the ground.
Yeah, but even now, like, they throw the ball so much, it's not a third down. Like, they keep saying these old terms, right? And I get it, man. I probably do it. Would like to say it too. Well, he's going to be a third down specialist. You hear that when they draft somebody. Or I can't think of the guy's name that's bounced around everywhere in the league. Didn't play last year from Philly. Son Reddick, third down specialist. But they're going to throw the ball 2 out of 3 downs anyway. And most teams outside of Philly is probably going to throw it 3 times, on average. I mean, you're going to be closer to 3 than you are 2, right? So that pass rush is more important than the run game anymore. So I think it's a win-win.
Yep.
I mean, we're going to do. I'll save it. So save it. We're going to talk about the offseason as a whole and what we quote unquote graded or whatever else. So I got some thoughts on that, and you will as well. But before we get to the roster breakdown, the Bengals cut down to 53. Made some moves after that, which we both like. We're going to talk about it in a second, but let's go beer route. What do you got today, Stevie Boy?
I have Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. First time I've had it. I've about got the first one down. It's not bad. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 Who Days.
3 out of 5 Who Days. I drink them every year. Usually, the weather's pretty warm this time of year, and it still probably will be at some point. But
I think so, yeah.
These come out this time of year, and you're drinking them you still drink them, but it's almost like it's still summer shandy type season, right? But I saw these yesterday, and I'm like, man, this is perfect weather for these. These are really good with chili or something like that. I mean, I love the full taste, at least a 4 for me. There it is, Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I love it. One of my favorites this time of year. It's kind of like
you give it?
I give it 4. Yeah. Like the Christmas ale from Great Lakes. They come out so early, but they're not really good until you get really cold. It's a little different than this even. This taste, they're really a rich taste. And I'm smoking today a sun-grown Maduro from Rocky Patel. Not much less, smaller cigar. It's really good. One of the top ones, so I highly recommend that cigar. Back to football. We talk about the roster. We're going to go through some of the positions pretty quickly, like receiver. You got Chase T, Yoshi, Mitchell Tinsley, Charlie Jones, and Jermaine Burton. I mean, if you said this at the beginning of camp that it's Tinsley making it, would be a surprise. But how camp unfolded, especially preseason games, no real surprises there. What are your thoughts on this receiver squad?
No, pretty cut and dry. The way Tinsley played, especially in preseason. Of course, we're not there, during the practices, but from what we hear from beat writers and such, he didn't drop a ball all summer. So he knows all the positions. He works hard. He's worked his butt off. He deserves it. The question mark, probably more than any of them, is probably Jermaine, keeping him healthy. What's his role going to be? How many are they going to keep active on game day? Yeah. I mean, if he's the returner, or if Charlie's a returner, they're going to keep 5 active. They're going to keep 6. There's a good chance Burton. He may not be active a ton, and then again, it might depend on the opposite team's special teams. If they think he would do good in certain areas, or they can get some holes outside, and maybe Burton's the guy there. Maybe Charlie's the one up the gut. Who knows? So, but no, pretty straightforward. Pretty good damn, as they would say, room.
Yeah, position, right? I think this position group's really good. Like you said, I think they're missing that take the top off guy. Chase can obviously do that, but he's not a real burner to straight ahead. He is when he's got the ball in his hands, right? But to open up that, and that's what Burton could be. But it's just hard to have faith in him, right? We see moments of it, like we talked about, with a grain of salt in camp. But Charlie, he's not developed into what I thought he would be. In large part, that's been because of injuries, right? I saw him. I liked him at Purdue. I saw him as like a Boyd type replacement, but he hasn't fit into that. That's definitely Yoshi now, a different type player, but slot type guys, and Chase can move anywhere. But I think Tinsley, I don't see him as much in special teams. I could think he'll play a good bit for him. He's not a burner either, but there's something about body control, right? And I don't know how you measure that other than game film
and Burrow trust.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what I'm saying, to be able to contort and read a ball and adjust your, look at Jerry Rice. He's the best ever. It's not whether he's a burner or not, or whether you think he's fast or not. There's differing opinions on that in game. But his ability to stop and catch a ball, that matters. Like Michael Irvin's one of the bigger knuckleheads in the history of not only sports, life. guy's a idiot, right? And everybody, he somehow he got jobs on the NFL Network, and I realized the guy's, I mean, that rock over there has got a higher IQ than that idiot, right? But he could play. He could play. And the ability to stop and turn, he wasn't a burner either. He's bigger, but the way he could turn and catch a ball, like Tinsley showed some of that. I mean, he's not that kind of player, but what he did in preseason, I like that guy.
I do too.
I think he's got a shot at really helping him this year, so we'll see.
And we probably shouldn't set too much on Yoshi, because I'm telling you, this guy, Joe trusts him.
Yep.
He's going to be in there a lot. He also knows all the positions. He's bigger. He's stronger. I don't think you could get any damn faster. He was like a triathlon guy or some shit. Yep. I don't know, but he could do it all. So.
Yep. So now we look at the most scrutinized position, which made a lot of changes here. We're not going to grade anything yet, just the position. We'll talk about the offseason as a whole. But coming in, cut day, it was kind of weird. They had 8 offensive linemen, right? And I still don't like their backup tackle, but they've got Orlando Brown, Fairchild, Karras, Lucas Patrick probably will start against Cleveland, and Mims at right tackle. But at some point, they signed Dalton Risner, which we both like. We'll talk about that in a second. Jalen Rivers is better fitted for a guard. And I think he's got some high side there. Matt Lee will probably be the starting center, next year perhaps. We'll talk about the practice squad here in a little bit. But Cody Ford, I think right now is their backup tackle. Right? I don't know how he wouldn't be. I don't like that.
He is, but I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't think anybody does. So, initially started with 8, but then they signed Risner. They brought a couple guys back on the practice squad, which we'll get to that, cut one of them. So they got a couple guys there stashed. But Risner, if he starts there, I kind of like the starting 5. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, to be straight up honest, it's probably the best starting 5 Joe's had in his tenure as a Cincinnati Bengal.
It's a low bar, and I agree.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, that's not saying a ton, but for what they have, and honestly, it raises their floor. So now, I mean, that one guy, I think, was just one guy. Yeah, but what that does, it pushes these other guys down, but it gives them so much better depth. Except for the tackle position. But even that, I mean, Cochran, he's got game experience. He's played.
They cut him, didn't they?
They brought him back. He's on the practice squad.
They released him from the practice squad. Sorry.
Oh, they did release him from the practice squad?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
So much for that. Yeah. They signed Javon Foster, practice squad. We'll get to the practice squad here shortly, but Missouri, Wade Derek Gregory. But Risner, I mean, I don't like PFF. I think, but supposedly he hasn't given up a step. But I think as a pass blocker, he's really good. Run blocker, maybe not. But in short yardage situations, they can go heavy. They can do whatever they want, right? And maybe they sub in. But, I mean, pass blocking is what's going to make this team, period.
Right, for sure.
I mean, that's what it matters, right?
Yeah.
So I think, his experience, I liked him a lot coming out of Kansas State. He hadn't quite developed into what I thought. And they got some guys on the practice what I really like too, Seth in particular. But, it was a little shocking. You knew something was up. I mean, you can't, I'm not knocking them here, but they showed their hand a little bit by keeping 8. We knew something was up. Or we hoped, at least. You never know, I guess. But so, good moves there. We like it. Tight ends, kind of surprised me still. They have 5. They got Gesicki, Sample, Noah Fan, who we like. They brought in from Seattle cutting. Tanner Hudson. It was hard to cut him after the way he played preseason. The guy just makes plays, right?
Yeah.
Like, he really does. And then Cam Grandy, who, there's been a lot of discussion. He's essentially Drew Sample type. I guess maybe they're seeing next year. I don't know. Maybe there's,
I actually think he's better than Sample.
He might be. I'm surprised they're both still on the team, honestly.
You got to have somebody that can block.
Yeah, I don't know that you need 2 of them, right? I mean, but if there's nobody on the the waiver wire, or if they've been there more than 4 years, a free agent that you can pick up, I guess you keep the best player, right? And I agree with that. So, what's your thoughts on the tight end position? We won't call
it's all about game day. Who they're going to have active. I mean, you can say 53 man. You got so many guys on the practice squad now that you can bring up. There's so many designations that you can do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it kind of all matters. I mean, they're probably only going to dress 4 anyway. So one of them guys is not going to be on the game day roster. So, I mean, potato.
Oh, potato. That's potato. Yeah. And quarterback, we love it. Joe Burrow, Jake Browning. They brought in. They didn't think anything of Ritter. Cut him. Didn't bring him back.
Nope.
Brought in Rippon he's been around forever from Boise State. He's not related to Mark Rippon. I've heard people say, I'm almost positive he's not. I think I looked that up before. I'll look it up here in a second. But
Actually, I think he is.
is he?
Yeah.
I'll check it real quick. But he played at Boise, I think. I remember him when he was.
Yeah, he was Boise.
Yeah, he's Tim Ripken's son. Ripken's son. I don't think he's related.
Okay.
To him. I know everybody thought that, and I did too when he was at Boise or whatever. But he was a nice player way back when. He's 29 years old. I think it's tough because if you get in a situation, you want somebody that's a veteran. But as I've said numerous times, and a lot of teams still do this, I would draft a quarterback every 2 years. They don't. I would. And, I don't know what he ended up yet. Kyle McCord, and there was another young quarterback out there. I'd rather have somebody like that on the practice squad than I would Rippon. Rippon's not going to be anything.
I'm probably 50-50 on that. Mm-hmm. I'm probably good either way. I mean, if they draft someone that they can see mature and get better and develop, I mean, yeah, that's good too. But it's also kind of good. You kind of never know what may happen. So it's good to have a veteran back there too. So
yeah, but I mean, if Burrow and Browning go down, I mean,
it doesn't matter anyway. I understand that, but
just
they're not going to think of it like that.
The guy the Raiders cut, they cut him a lot too. I don't know if he's which I liked. We'll talk about that a little bit. That quarterback that Brady was in love with. I would take a young guy because the value in that is if you develop him and stash him, you get draft picks out of him. It's proven time and time again, right?
You're not getting. If you can show him, if there's a way for people to actually see what he's got,
you can in preseason, but. Yeah. You keep him a year and you develop him and say, hey, we got something. You're not going to see that in Rippon, right? He is what he is. I get it, I guess, but I wouldn't be so conservative. I'd go a little more for broke on that one. Running backs, they only kept 3. Chase Brown, that we'll get to the practice squad who they brought back, and Perrine Samaji. I like him, of course, and then Taj Brooks, who we both like. I think there's high upside there. Chase Brown will be for what modern times, bell cow. He's not going to be what it was. Looked great preseason. Have high expectations for him this year. I do think Brooks, if you fantasy gurus out there, I think Brooks might steal some TDs from him. I really do. And even P. Ryan. The value in P. Ryan, it goes without saying, is third down. Mm-hmm. You bring him on third down, he's going to block. Mm-hmm. I mean, we talked about it when Mixon was there when we were at games. The two of them, we wanted P. Ryan to play ahead of Mixon because Mixon wouldn't block anybody. Remember?
Yep.
The few plays that Mixon made, and he made more. I'm not knocking him, but at the grand scheme of things, when you can't block on those third down, what weighs more, right? P. Ryan made a lot of good plays for him. Did. A little older. What are your thoughts on the backs?
Yeah, so P. Ryan's going to be interesting. I don't think he's going to quite get the snaps that he did, 3 years ago.
I don't either.
But I think there's going to be some big third downs, right? And I think those are the third downs that P. Ryan's going to be on. Right. And what I don't, it has nothing to do with pass blocking. It has nothing to do with run. My memories of P. Ryan in 21 and 22 were him catching the ball a yard from line of scrimmage and getting first downs when it was like,
touchdowns too, big plays.
I mean, he was so big in those years, and I mean, Cincinnati Bengals fans were tore up when he left.
Oh, absolutely.
It was really shocking, actually, that he didn't leave to go do what he done. But you see how that worked out for him.
Yep.
So, Tajay, I think his upside, is where it is because you don't know how many touches he's going to get. Let's hope and pray that Chase can stay healthy. And remember, at Illinois, this kid had some touches. 30, 40. I think one game he had like 42 or 44.
True bell cow. He was their offense.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like this guy. I mean, his lower body is strong. And he was a steal for sure. So yeah, love the position. It's still deep because we'll talk about the practice squad here in a little while because there's a guy on there I really like also.
Mm-hmm. Chase has got unbelievable speed. He's a little too fast sometimes, not seeing the hole or whatever, right? We talked about that, but low center of gravity, hard to hit, hard to see sometimes, right? He's strong.
And they say his pass catching is night and day.
Oh, yeah. He's a worker.
Sky's the limits, man.
I think, I've mentioned it before, if you watch the documentary on him and his brother, man, they're just workers. That's what they've ever done. So, tough road for them, growing up, and they obviously made the best of it just through hard work. Defensive line, so it looked a little weird there at first. It's settled down a little bit. So now you have 10 guys. Gregory got cut today. I don't know if you saw that, Steve. Well, you may not have.
I didn't.
So
I kept looking to see who they was going to cut.
He got cut.
See.
I didn't think you saw it because you didn't know the other one there. Nice job staying on top of things. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't in my underwear at work today. So.
I wasn't in mine. I was in shorts. I did get a good workout in too. So you got Trey, B.J. Hill, T.J. Slayton, and I think Shamar Stewart. A lot of depth charts so different. So the backups are Miles Murphy and Osai. It may not be that way week one, but that's the way it's going to be. Stewart's clearly better than both. Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson. You think about it. You think about some of the guys that they've cut. I saw Robbins on Buffalo, and it made me think about it. It's kind of like the Reds, right? The Reds are faltering now. Well, they've had. I'm going to compare the two here. Be patient with me. I don't know. I can't even in that ballpark. It's been 5-6 years since they had somebody hit like 25 home runs. I think it's even less than that. And, the fingers are pointing. It's how did the GM survive? Yeah. Here I say the same thing, right? Well, we had to correct, Zach Carter didn't pan out. We drafted Robbins. Well, you guys are the ones that did it. It's not the previous regime, right? I think they did a better job this offseason. But McKinley Jackson has been underwhelming. Some thought he might even get cut. I didn't. Chris Jenkins, who I think he can still be good. Howard Cross, who we both liked, made the team. And then Cam Sample, I guess. If there's no one else out there, I guess. Yeah. Cam's okay, but you saw what he was a few years ago when he was healthy, even guys are out. He's a smart, savvy player, but, the starting four, Trey and Shamar on the ends, and Slayton and BJ, that starting four is pretty damn good, I think, and better depth than they've had in a long time. Back to Ogunjobi and those guys, right?
Yeah.
So I like the defensive line. I'm in the minority. You hear them still getting bashed. They need this, but, I don't know why that – we talked about it last year. It brings it back, we'll get riled up. We need more defense. How many fucking defense? You remember last year we said the same thing. It wasn't on. It was pre-draft. We said
it was.
I don't know why everybody's
at
so
some point in
obsessed
time, the guys that you draft have to play, and you got to develop.
And if they can't, you as a GM your ass should be gone, right? And
many times.
Yeah, Slayton and B.J. Hill should be good enough with Stewart and Hendrickson behind him. Then you got the two guys you drafted right there. I wouldn't have added anybody else, and I agree with them, right? And I do like Howard Cross making the team. What's your thoughts overall on the defensive line as a whole?
Yeah, I think Jenkins is the key because, BJ is going to be in on a lot of first and second downs, and there'll be some rotation, especially later in the games.
Yep.
But if you can get Jenkins in there, he can show some juice, man. They got to have Jenkins.
Yep.
Jackson is more of...
just a big boy.
Yeah, just a big boy. First down. You get late in games. If Slayton's got to go out for a while, a lot of people were making, there's so many, like Cross and those guys were getting so many more snaps than Jackson. Well, they're two different positions. He wasn't playing at 3-tech. He's playing a nose or right off nose. So that's two totally different positions. They're not going to get the same amount of snaps. Now, you can move Jackson to that 3-tech, but you're not going to get the kind of rush. That's not that's not his body type. That's not what he's about. They drafted him to be a nose tackle. Even in a 4-3, you can still have a nose tackle just to the left of the center or right of the center. That's basically, you're just playing off the shoulder of the center. And, they need that. They need to get these guys in second, third, and long and let Trey and Shamar and Jenkins go get the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I'm with you. We've said it. I've said it. These guys need to play. See what you got. That way next year, when you should fire everybody, if they ain't worth the shit, then you go get who you need.
Yep. Yeah, this should be a make-or-break year. It's probably not because it's the Bengals, but it absolutely should be, right? If it doesn't pan out to me and I'm the owner, I would have already made the change. But they'd be heads would roll, coaching staff, front office, or whatever else.
It
probably won't. But it would if I was in charge.
Yeah.
And so I think, also, the other side of this is in goal line, they can go big now, man. They got some guys. They can really go short yardage goal line. They can go big. And then linebacker, I hope Logan comes back. I don't think he will. I just don't think he's going to be the same player. But they drafted Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter. I like both of those guys. Not barn burner picks, but I think both will play. That's the thing where you look back and evaluate. If you just look at the pick in and of itself, I think both of those picks are going to look very good because I think they're going to start for them for years, right?
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Now, who could you pick around there? Then that's a different story. You got Oren Burks who can play. We know him from Philly, and I loved him coming out. Vandy. He's just not been the player that I thought he would be. A little wrong on him, but he's hung around. Good special teams player, and in a pinch, as he showed last year with Philly, he can play.
Yeah.
And then Shaka Hayward kind of shocked, pun intended, both of us making the roster. There was talk between him and some other guys, but I like this linebacker crew. We'll see. I just don't know how the Logan thing's going to pan out. And early on, he's going to get worked because it's going to be a heavy run game, we think, against Cleveland. Jacksonville, you don't know what they're going to do. So it's going to be interesting to see what just those first 2 games. And, you mentioned rotation on the defensive line. Those early games, it may not be that warm the way it looks now, but typically they rotate a whole lot more than they do as the year goes on.
Yeah.
But it's, we'll see what the weather's like. But Cleveland, it'll be heavy rundowns, I would assume. They still haven't signed Quinshon Judkins yet, which is so weird. So weird. He's one.
And nobody's even saying anything about that.
No, it's not even. He's a hell of a player at High State. So what are your thoughts on the linebackers?
Yeah, so I'm a little worried in a way. I'll take one too, buddy.
What, same, or you want to go Cincy Light?
I'll go Cincy Light. So I'm a little worried about Logan. We didn't see him enough to really know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard.
Let him get his football feet back under him. He's been hurt.
Oh,
thank you, sir. Mike, wait a second for open that one.
Yeah.
But I think the rookies is going to help. I'm pretty sure they probably got packages, for both. I mean, there's going to be times Carter's probably in there when Knight's not. I think both can play downhill. I think both can hit. I think both can cover a little bit. So, I mean, it's wait and see. Burks, solid veteran, again, special teams. Pretty good core. I mean, I wouldn't call them, one of their best positions that they've got, but they're solid.
You know what helps linebackers? You know what helps secondary? One and the same.
Patrick.
Defensive line.
Yeah.
Defensive line plays well. The linebackers and secondary all of a sudden are better, right? When they're not, like
Keep
they were.
the guys off of them.
Like last year, they were not. So the linebackers were exposed, both of them, Pratt and him, and the secondary. So we'll see. But I think the secondary is tough to evaluate because so many guys have been out, and they looked, frankly, pretty damn bad. But DJ Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt, I guess. Some are saying Newton in there. But 2 of those 3 are going to start. I think it'll be Turner and CTB, honestly. And then safety Jordan Battle, who he's caught a lot of grief from you. And I actually like Jordan Battle. I want to clarify. But it's just hard to like somebody when he misses a tackle on it's preseason. But, fuck, he's not that style, right? I think he's worried about the headlines hitting the quarterback, honestly. That's the problem.
I do too.
That's the problem with our league right now, the NFL, is that you hit a quarterback, then, all the loudmouths that we mentioned prior, oh, you can't hit a quarterback like that in preseason. I think he's probably worried about all that. Geno Stone, he struggled last year. I think he'll bounce back a little more in this defense. And I think he's going to know what he's doing. There's less thinking, more playing. Dax Hill will be the nickel and maybe some other stuff. Tyson Anderson certainly earned it. DJ Ivey, man, he looked bad in the preseason. I know he supposedly looked good in camp. He looked okay when we were there, but preseason, ay. And then the cool story of PJ Jules, and then they also kept Marco Wilson, who's been in and out. But Newton, DJ, and CTB, those 3 are going to have to really step up, and the safeties are as well. But as I said earlier, a lot of that's on the defensive line. They're athletic, can't take that away from them. Very athletic, extremely athletic, fast, and I think the style. You look at all those guys; they're aggressive. CTB, DJ, Dax, even early on, they're aggressive battle. They're aggressive players, but they were in a non-aggressive system. That's where I don't know what the GM. I just don't understand that. Like, in most cases, you're drafting talent, but it's also you're drafting how it fits your system. Always. I don't care who it is, Bill Walsh, Belichick, whoever. And the Bengals haven't really done that. It's been this mismatch, and we've seen them like even on offense. Well, we're changing our blocking scheme in week 7. What? I mean, the right hand's not talking to the left hand there or something. So I think stylistically, this secondary matches up far better with Golden than Lou. But if you're waxing poetic about this group right now, you're just being a homer because there are a lot of question marks. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a good bit of question marks, but I'm pretty confident in them. I think the way Dax was playing last year, I love Fig. I think he can go in there and play well. I kind of like Dax on the outside. I get where he played in college, and I kind of like Dax and Cam on the outside. Let DJ come off the bench at certain times, and let Fig play inside some. But that's probably not going to have to work. It's probably going to be more Dax on the inside.
It seems that way, but you never know.
I mean, I don't know. They seem to. It's almost like they was in their head a little bit, right? Like they was thinking a little too much instead of reacting and just playing fast.
It's football, right?
Yeah,
it's not chess.
Let's hope with Al's system that they can calm down, go out, play fast, play football, go out and hit somebody, cover, get some hands on some stuff. Because with this defense, and especially with how we think the linebackers may be, I mean, turnovers is going to be probably so big for this team. If they're aggressive, there's going to be a lot, balls tipped in the air, hands getting in there. Like, let's start getting them turnovers and giving Joe some decent field position to where he can start taking advantage, and they can have some play calls that will favor them in such a way that they won't even be able to stop them. And I think that's the key. It's going to be turnovers, and it's going to start with the linebackers and the secondary, and hopefully Shamar and Trey can get to the damn quarterback.
Absolutely. And then return game, if Charlie's healthy, he's really good. We saw glimpses of that, including Cleveland last year. Mm-hmm. Recau is how you say his last name. I always butcher it. I know somebody knows him, by the way. Recau. I know somebody knows him, by the way. Kind of cool. Forgot to tell you that. But Money Mac looked good. The punter, if he does what he did last year, oh my gosh.
Yeah, good Lord.
That guy was pleasant surprise. Robin's now with the Bills. And I got something to talk about that in a little bit. But I think special teams wise, they're going to be pretty good. Honestly, I think they're going to be pretty good. So, all righty, we'll talk about that initial couple guys. Like, I don't know if you have it up there, but Brightwell, we like. Coker, Jalen Davis, Joe Giles Harris, who was borderline making the team. Kirkland, Steph McLaughlin, love him. I think he's got big time potential once he gets healthy. Linebacker Mama, who we like a lot. Didn't do as much this year in preseason, but he still played well when he was in there, honestly. He doesn't look the part.
No,
he's probably not
the size at 230, 235.
But he plays well.
He does.
He's a step slow, but he's not on the field. Like,
right.
The guy, if I was a team out there in the NFL, I think I'd pick him up and give him a shot if I was linebacker short. Because I think
I was really surprised that Seth got through.
I was too a little bit.
He was the only one out of any of them that I was really worried about. And for him to get back, because now if a team gets him, he's got to go on the 53 man.
Yeah, you got to sign him to active roster.
Active roster, yeah.
So it's got to be it is the injury for sure, but he may just not be close enough yet.
Right.
And, how I envision
plus
this
three
year,
centers too, right? Like, if you've got
unless you're going to move him to guard or whatever. But I think he's better than Matt Lee if he's healthy. But he may never. He probably. I mean, they're so much better with those injuries nowadays. But if he. I looked at it when we talked about it. It was a sign and stash, right? And I thought he should have been drafted and stashed. So that's what they're doing with him anyway. So, as long as he gets through everything, since the season's over, they'll sign him to, the roster expands and he's there. They waived Eric Gregory late out of Arkansas. He made the team. And then they, once they brought in Risner, they let him go. They signed Javon Foster, 6'5", 319. He was out of Missouri. Sorry for the background noise. Somebody's always doing something around here. He was picked out of Jacksonville, played 4 games last year, inactive 13. They signed Russ Yeast to the practice squad safety. I did think there was a chance. There's some older vets out there safety-wise that I thought they might go for, but they didn't.
Still might.
You never know.
Still might.
Depends, right? I mean, they
got a lot of money. They still might.
You got.
It wouldn't take a lot of money, but they have. You got to remember how they think.
Simmons, he might a little bit of money, but I don't think they're going to do that now. But
he wants to be a Bengal.
Yeah, he's a good player. He was a good player. I don't know about now, but so they released Cochran, who we talked about. That part of that was the Risner sign. So I think it's a pretty good practice squad. For what it's worth.
But too.
I think
better
Seth,
than last year.
Oh yeah, I think Seth could be. I think all things being equal, if he comes back to where he was at Ohio State, he's better than Lee. And I think better than Karras. But we'll see.
Next year there'll be an open competition.
Absolutely.
I think regardless of what happens, unless something happens to Karras and Lee comes in and plays well, or plays really good, that's probably the only way there isn't a competition. But next year, if Karras isn't with the team, there'll be an open competition there.
Yeah, and then Rippon, who we mentioned, is also on the practice squad.
Yeah.
So that's it for the practice squad. So overall, we like it. So a lot of movement around the league. The Raiders, it kind of makes you wonder how much input Brady probably has there, and it's probably not much because I don't think they really did things that he liked. But Tommy Millott, who I liked, I don't know if he signed yet, but I would have took a shot at him. The Bills did some, the Bills got the microscope on him because they're on Hard Knocks, right? But the receiver Hamlin, the guy out of Army got in late. You probably haven't watched it yet, but that dude was playing, right? But he got to camp late. He's still making plays, right? I mean, they got him back on the practice squad. I think Buffalo did. So it's interesting to see, a lot of movement. There's a couple trades there. Adam Thielen got traded back to Minnesota. There's a lot of injuries, things going on, and there might be some more stuff now. There wasn't nothing real eye-opening across the league, but it's kind of name starters. Flacco starting in New Orleans. As I said when they drafted what's his face, I said Rattler was better than him. Rattler got the job.
He did.
So you drafted a guy in the second round. Whoo, it looks bad. And Mickey Loomis is kind of above reproach for what he's done in the past, but he's made some bad stuff here, right? So people giving credit, and I guess you build up that equity, you probably deserve it. He won a championship there. So some surprising moves around the league. Terry McLaurin finally got his extension, but Michael Parsons still out there, Stevie boy.
Yep.
Still out there. They're
how
fighting.
about them Cowboys?
Yeah, how about them? It's funny watching that show. I haven't quite finished it yet. Barry Switzer is a unique watch if you haven't seen it, but you almost feel bad for the guy. He's such a likable guy, right? And he was at Oklahoma. Jimmy Johnson was so cocky, he just walked up to Jerry Jones when he's covering the championship game, NFC. Just walked up to him and made him shake his hand with the cameras on it. And Barry Switzer and all of them did not like it. It was that night. He just walked right up to him, stuck his hand, cocky, right? So Jerry, they all said he proved it. At that point, he made his point, and everybody took Jerry's side. And then, what are we talking here? 30 years later, no NFC Championship game appearances, let alone. I think Jimmy's point was made, right? So, interesting. Great watch. I want to point out something. Joe Tooney, that played originally for New England, speaking of New England, I thought Cole Strange would come. I don't know if he signed yet. I might have to look it up, but I thought the Bengals would go after him. They didn't.
I did too.
That was a strange pick with Belichick, then it was. But the funny thing is, Tooney, who they let go to Kansas City, signed. Mm-hmm. The Bengals, imagine if they got that guy. So he's still playing. He's with the Bears now. So the Bills practiced against the Bears, and they're doing one-on-one drills, right? And Ed Oliver knows who he is. I mean, he's played against him for sure, right? Ed Oliver and him are going one-on-one. That's a matchup, dude. Ed Oliver coming out and goes, he's talking to his teammates. That guy's a fucking beast. That guy's up. Did you see that? And he's controlling him, dude. And it's not he's strong. His hands were just unbelievable. He came up to him and he goes, dude, you're a dog, man. And he's over. So the Bears are
right.
They're going after it, right? You don't see the Bengals really do that. So kudos to them. But that's going to be an interesting team. Anything else about the NFL before we jump into college football?
Let's jump into that college.
It's going to be awesome, dude. The Buckeyes, the Longhorns. High noon in Columbus. I wish I was going to be there. What an atmosphere! People are, it's things change, right? So, for the good or better or worse, they change. People are all against high noon games. It used to be Ohio State, man. That was awesome. A high noon game. Now they don't. I love it personally.
I love it.
I don't like the later games. So that is going to be a doozy. I've seen different reports. Urban Meyer was on Joe Klatt, and he said, "What you do?" He's such a psychological motivator, right? He studied it. He said, you get in these quarterbacks, you see a lot of coaches getting these quarterbacks. He said, I've done it before too. You set these big expectations. We need to do this, and their mind's blown. They're young, and you just blow their confidence. You ruin it. He said, I just tell him, if I was coaching him, Julian Sand, the new quarterback for Ohio State, just get 2 first downs every series. Doesn't matter if we score or not. If you do that, don't turn the ball over. Don't throw it over the middle. He's just, and he said, we'll win the game. Our defense is good enough. We've got so many playmakers, Jeremiah and all these guys. Just get them the ball, let them do their thing, and Ryan Day obviously knows that. I mean, for all his critics, and I'm one of them many times, offensively he knows what the hell he's doing, right? So, new coordinator Brian Hartline, people say they're not worried about it. You probably should be. Matt Patricia, defense coordinator, we'll see. This team is jacked up, loaded. I've seen people like NFL perspective talk about it and say this team's better than last year's. I don't know about that because they're so green. It's just going to be hard to. There's so many new stuff. But Sonny Styles is a beast now. Saw him play basketball, so it's going to be a hell of a game. We're going to talk about the CFB big games. We're going to talk about the bets. We're getting into it now. Get your notebook out, or your app on your phone, more likely. Take your notes, write them down, get your bets in for entertainment purposes only. Here we go, Stevie boy. It's on like Donkey Kong. The thing about it.
You're keeping score, right?
Keeping score, what do you mean?
Hey, you got to write this down?
No, I'll do it post. So I said post-production. I'll just pull them all out, write them down, and go.
Okay.
Don't do it live. So Boise State and South Florida playing in a little bit. We're not going to talk about that. One comment I want to make about Bill Belichick. We talk about interfering owners, right? Belichick's going to be this weekend. He came out and said something. I don't know. Did you catch that? Did you see it?
Did.
He said, well, that's what happens in college. You don't have an interfering owner and his son. Bam! And the thing is, that's most of the NFL right now.
Yeah.
There's very few owners that aren't involved. There's some, but it used to be they got out of the way. You know, Bill Parcells, you're going to let me cook. If I'm going to make dinner, let me shop for the groceries or whatever, right? So that was Kraft then. He backed off now. And, you know, Belichick said, we just weren't the same team. You know, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And you hear all the stories coming out. Mm-hmm. And Vrabel blew his top here just a week or two ago. We got too many informants in this building. So he was right. And no doubt, Kraft's got there. They did it with Bledsoe. Yeah. You see it across the league. So that's always interesting. In college, you don't have that as much. You probably do in some places. So we're not going to talk about the bets here, but Boise State and South Florida kick off here in a little bit, 5 minutes. Around the state, I feel like I'm on Columbus Radio. Around the state, you got Ohio and Rutgers. You got Miami of Ohio playing tonight as well. They go to Wisco. That's an interesting game. Duke's and Act, Buffalo, Minnesota. But Nebraska, the Cornhuskers and the Bearcats, Thursday night at 9 on ESPN. Live from that stadium I used to like when I was a kid and hate now. Whatever field, blah, blah. Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. UC getting 6.5 versus Nebraska. It's a tough one. Here's the thing about Matt Rule, right? He experienced the same thing that Belichick talked about. He went to the NFL. Matt Rule's a coach that builds, a program builder. Had an owner in his way, couldn't do it. He built it at Baylor, built it at Temple, then Baylor. Now he's in Nebraska. Not quite off the same start. Dylan Raiola is a big-time quarterback, dude. Nobody's talking about him.
Yeah.
This guy can play. 6.5 points. We're on CBSSports.com getting the spread, so you might see a little different. I didn't want to pull up the app, but I checked them. They're pretty much the same right now. That might change. I tell you, I think UC, the tight end's going to be a big-time player. I think he's got a shot playing really high draft pick. I like him a lot. The big boy in the middle, the Mafia name, Corleone, I like him too. But I think Nebraska covers. I like the Cornhuskers. Given 6.5. Your thoughts, Stevie boy?
Yep, they'll cover. Probably, I'm going to say double digits.
Really?
Yep. Sure do. I don't. Early in the year, I think it might take UC a minute to get their feet wet.
Yeah, they came on a little bit, but that's the thing. You move into a bigger conference, which they did. It's not what it was, but it's still a major step up for UC, right? That's a tough one. They've struggled with it. Didn't hire exactly the biggest name coach in the world. That was kind of shady. I think he might be all right, though, honestly. But it's probably going to take a while. I just, I think they got a potential to be a lot better team. But we'll see. And then we're going to jump all the way ahead, Stevie boy. Let me get it here real quick. We're going to jump all the way down to Friday night at 8 o'clock unfortunately, on ESPN. I'll say that every time. No, I won't. Georgia Tech at Colorado. Deion's got a whole new team in front of him. His son's gone. Travis is gone. Many of the other ones are gone. I like Brent Key, the Georgia Tech coach. I think he is a heck of a football coach, better than Deion. Colorado getting 4.5 at home, though. That's a tough one. I would take Colorado plus the points, but I think Georgia Tech wins the game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll probably take Colorado on their at home, right?
Yep.
I think the emotions, opening week.
It's a big one.
I'm with you. I don't think Deion's a great coach at all.
Nah.
But
recruiter he is.
I was going to say he can recruit, and he's got some athletes. That team and that whole program has transformed. You at least got to give him that. And but no, I think they cover.
The tough part is you're relaying last year to this year. I mean, everybody is, but you look at UC. UC's got a whole new team almost. It's all transfers.
Yeah.
The big thing in Ohio State right now is they're not recruiting, they're not paying money. And I heard somebody say this, and I'm stealing it, and they're right. Would you want to go pay $1 million to a freshman that might be third on your two deep?
You're right.
And a year from now, he might transfer.
Right.
Or would you rather go get a transfer like Ohio State did the tight end for Purdue who will play right now? And it makes sense, right? That's going to come back around at some point.
Yeah.
The recruiting's not as big now as it was. It's not as important. They're going to go out and get the Sayans, Jeremiah Smith, and those kind of guys. But UC basically went the whole transfer route. So, high noon, as we mentioned, the Buckeyes, the Longhorns, a rematch. Everybody seems to think that Texas has the same team as last year. Guess what? They don't. Whole new offensive line. Arch Manning, high pressure on him. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's quite as good as all the hoopla. They've got some players, but they're a whole lot different team. Ohio State has Carnell Tate. Brandon Ennis is going to be a player, mark it down. The tight end, I just mentioned it came from Purdue. Oh, my gosh. Jeremiah Smith, of course, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles. Saying's going to be good. Ohio State is given 1.5 at home. I think the Buckeyes cover easily. I think this is a no-brainer. I think it's not going to be a cakewalk this year. I think there's going to be some challenges. They play Wisconsin, at Illinois, at Michigan, Penn State. I think all those games are going to be a little tricky. But this one, the first game of the year, I think they're going to be in Arch's face all whole game.
I do too.
I think Ohio State wins by 10 or more. I think this is if I had a lock bet, it's this one. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say lock because, like you said, we not necessarily know exactly what to expect. But, yeah, I mean, what did you say, 1.5?
Yeah.
I think I had 2.5 or 2. But, yeah, Ohio State by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, it dropped a lot. It was higher than that, and then it kept dropping down. Ohio State gets bashed no matter what, but they're all they do is go get transfers. And you look at most of the rosters, theirs is the least it was last year and this year, right? Key positions, Sayings regarded as that, but he was like at Alabama for a week. So Alabama, speaking of, roll Tide, don't roll. Roll Tide. New coach, ranked 8th at Florida State. Tough game, 13.5 points. Last year we liked Wisco. Remember that game we watched it here, and Alabama rolled them. I think that coach at Florida State's starting to get his footing a little bit. I think Alabama wins the game, but I think Florida State covers, getting 13.5. Your thoughts?
I'm going to take Alabama on this one. I've got 14, so that does actually make a little bit of a difference. Over under, I got 49.5. So they're not expecting to score a ton of points. But, yeah, I think Alabama wins by, 17, 18, 19
Could happen.
points.
That's a tough game to prognosticate. A lot of teams in action. We're going to miss most of them, but we go Saturday night, 7:30, ABC. You'll be at Morehead State University. You will not see this one.
I will not.
The Louisiana Brian Kelly-led State Tigers versus Death Valley versus Death Valley. They go to Death Valley to play Dabo Sweeney's highly ranked 4th Sweeney. Clemson Tigers, 2 defensive linemen projected top 6 or 7.
Probably at least. At least top 10.
And the quarterback potentially top 10 as well. I don't know that they're that good. I don't know if they're championship quality, but I think they win this game. They're giving 3.5. I like Clemson giving the points at home in Clemson. Your thoughts?
Yep, I got 3.5 too. I got Clemson by at least a touchdown. I just don't like LSU. I just don't. I don't think they're going to be very good. I don't think they're very well coached. He can recruit, but I've seen him play in too many big games, especially in the last couple of years, and they just look like shit. So, I like Clemson cover.
And Dabo, they kind of got down on him. He lost the transfer battle and all the money battles there. But before that, look what he did. Jeez, Pete. Yep. It was never level, but when it was more level, that dude can coach.
Yep.
People don't like him. I do. I think Clemson, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, we're not going to talk about it. Interesting game because the overhyped, I think, South Carolina quarterback, we'll see. But Sunday night, so Labor Day weekend, this is what's good about college. You get Sunday and Monday. Sunday night, 7:30, unfortunately on ABC. Probably be Herb Street again. You get to see him on every fucking game in the world, saying the same old stuff. Every game in the world, over and over and over. But you deal with it. Notre Dame, the Golden Domers. This is the convicts versus the Catholics. You remember that from the 80s? Controversial. Catholics versus convicts. It's not quite that anymore. Or is it? Miami. Carson Beck. I'm a loser, baby. Get it? It's a Beck reference. A Beck reference.
I get it,
Yeah, most people won't. Carson Beck, he's ugly. He's got a pretty woman, but he is dog ugly. But not a bad player.
No,
He lost a lot of reputation there for what he did at Georgia and probably deserved it. Dude can sling it. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida. I'm telling you, man, plus 2.5. I think Miami's going to upset them. I like Miami winning that one straight up. Forget the points. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Miami cover. I mean, 2.5. I mean, it could go either way, but whether they cover or whether they, just win outright. But yeah, and I also got 49.5 over under. So again, first game of the year, not a shit ton of points. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, 49.5 in college football anymore is not a lot of points. Yeah. So yep, I like Miami getting 2.5.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch. And then, unfortunately, on ESPN again, Monday night, TCU, North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Such a tough game. I mean, how are they going to react to Belichick? What's that going to be like? That first game, that place is going to be bonkers. The season ticket sales.
Is he going to be wearing a hoodie? That's what you got to ask.
Well, you have the sleeveless on. He probably will. Will his young lady friend be there? Probably. She is winning he's pushed her back out of the way. You can see that. Not hearing much about her now. No. She got a little too vocal there. This is a tough game, but I think North Carolina, what are they getting here? They're getting 3.5. I think Carolina wins the game, honestly. I like North Carolina at home. Bill Belichick, in my opinion, the greatest head coach in the NFL history. Jumps to college, wins out of the gate. It'll be interesting to see what he does this year. I like the Tar Heels. Your thoughts?
I'll take the Tar Heels just because it's Belichick. I think he'll have them ready. Got them ready to go. He recruited pretty good. He got some transfers also.
He got the quarterback.
Got the quarterback. Well, I do think that they'll at least cover.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Those two games, so a lot of good college football. I mean, you can.
That's a tough one.
From Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. There's at least one or two good games every single day.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Man, college football week one is just and last year wasn't bad, but in history, usually that where you're playing the cupcakes.
Yeah.
It's just been like, it's wait till week 2, 3, and 4, and they start getting into, and
a lot of teams in the out of conference, they didn't play anybody, right? So,
no.
But the thing, like, it came out and said this year we're factoring in strength of schedule. Like, how did you not factor that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But they are now, so teams are changing that. The SEC is finally going to 9 games instead of playing North Directional State, Alaska Highway Blind of the School of the Blind, right? So they're going to actually play somebody now. So that'll be interesting too. Things are changing. Maybe not for the better, but you are going to get more games that are good, right? I wish they'd fix the transfer piece of it. They probably will, but they're always $1 late or $1 short, day late, whatever college football is. But regardless, I think as a fan, the playoffs are better. The bigger games early are better. So it's going to be fun to watch this season. I have nothing else. Good show, Stevie boy. 1 million views. Keep it up. Watch us. Spread the word. We need your help. We appreciate the support. And send us out of here, Stevie boy, on week 1 of college football.
I got one more thing, and I'm going to throw this on you.
Do it.
So, as you can tell, I'm a little scruffy today.
So am I.
So this is what I propose. We will not shave until the Cincinnati Bengals win their first fucking football game.
I don't know about that, man.
What?
That's a week from Sunday.
What a wimp.
Well, here's the thing.
We need comments. We need people out there to be like, oh, no, Scott, you're a puss. You can't do that. Zorn's done brought it up. This is what's got to happen.
Well, here's the thing, though. You're a very feminine guy, so you're probably going to grow just very little. Whereas if I wait that long,
I'm a bear, dude.
I'm going to have
I'm a dog.
I'm going to be like Duck Dynasty.
No, I'm a dog.
You're a dog. You could pull a Kelvin Winslow. I'm a soldier. Soldier. All right, send us out, Stevie boy. I'll think about that. Send us out.
Also, traffic, stay the right.
We out. Talk to you
Peace
soon.
out.